Hello everyone. Recently, I have been delving into maps of the US drainage basins. The maps typically look as such, where you can see the upstream of every river, but most importantly, the borders that divide the drainage basins. But what is a drainage basin, also commonly known as a watershed? A drainage basin is an area in which all the rain, water, snow, etc. collected by water streams have a shared outlet. For example, on this map, the United States is divided into many different watersheds. Let's say you pour a bottle of water into a little creek anywhere in one of the Colorado basins. It would flow downstream into the Gulf of California every time you did it. The same goes with every watershed, except that each watershed has their own shared water outlet. It's really fascinating to see how geological processes have shaped both land and rivers for millions of years. I found it particularly interesting that the watershed of the Colorado River is located adjacently to the watershed of the Mississippi River. Looking closely at all these tiny creeks and streams around the borders of the watersheds made me wonder if these two major rivers might somehow have a connected watershed, or at least have something in common with each other. And the short answer is simply no, that no matter how much you try, you'll never be able to sail a boat from the Pacific to the Atlantic Ocean through the river systems of America. The reason is simple. Watersheds don't overlap, because water cannot travel uphill. Instead, water flows downstream, following the topography by seeking the lowest path to the body of water that is the easiest to get to. That results in streams merging, eventually joining major rivers like the Mississippi, which carry the water to the ocean. Once a water source in the mountain finds such a path to the ocean, that path will continually be reused. This is a core feature that is the result of the phenomenon called the Continental Divide, which is a dividing line going directly through both North and South America. The line is mainly a hydrological division of the continent, which is also why watersheds don't cross this line. Though there are other dividing lines, this is by far the most prominent one. But speaking of water sources, they usually cover larger areas, such as mountains. And that makes me question, can a water source feed two separate watersheds? To answer that question, let's take a look at Deer Mountain, located deep inside the Rocky Mountains. The Rocky Mountains consist of numerous peaks and valleys. Deer Mountain specifically is a mountain separating two valleys, which means that the water running down the sides of the mountain ends in two different valleys, thus creating two different streams of water. One flows north, creating the Frying Pan River, and the other flows south, creating Lake Creek. If you follow any river upstream, this is how most of them are created. This happens everywhere in huge mountainous areas like the Rockies. But in this specific case, these two streams belong to entirely separate watersheds, as the Frying Pan River is a tributary of the Colorado River, which eventually empties into the Gulf of California, roughly 1,100 kilometers or 700 miles southeast. Lake Creek, on the other hand, is a tributary of the Mississippi River, ending in the Gulf of Mexico around 1,800 kilometers or 1,100 miles southeast. The reason for the source ending up in such different places is that Deer Mountain is located directly on the Continental Divide, which is also a divider of the Colorado Basin and the Mississippi Basin. So can a single water source feed two different watersheds? Yes. It definitely can, as long as the source is on the border of two different watersheds. Despite the entirely different fate of these very small water streams, they exemplify how a single mountain can serve as the dividing line between two major drainage systems. The Mississippi River and Colorado River might not be physically connected, but they're definitely related to each other, as they're fed by the same water source. So if you're ever visiting Deer Mountain and it's raining, just think about where every water drop might end its journey. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.